millions of the faithful gather in Asia for Pope John Paul's largest mass ever. Prosecutors will seek the death penalty for a mother accused of killing her sons. And the People versus O.J. Simpson, a case about science and sociology.
From NBC News, this is NBC Nightly News, reported by Elizabeth Vargas.
Good evening. In the Philippines today, millions of people walked for miles to celebrate Mass with Pope John Paul II. It was the largest crowd ever to gather for a papal service anywhere. Neither the heat nor threats from Muslim terrorists could keep the people away. NBC's Lucky Severson has the story now from Manila.
The crowd for the Pope's final Mass in Manila was enormous, as many as 5 million people, his largest ever. So tightly packed, Pope John Paul II was forced to abandon his armor-plated Pope-mobile for an ordinary helicopter. And as he stared out at the unending faces, he seemed almost overcome. Dozens of people collapsed from the sweltering heat and the crushing humanity. Some simply fainted from all the excitement.
While security forces search for Muslim extremists suspected of plotting to kill the Pope, most people here are simply searching for space to catch a glance of the man some said was too old and frail to do this anymore.
Most could only see him with binoculars. Those who got close will remember.
It's a wonderful experience.
He looks like an angel.
He looked very holy.
After 2 operations, this is the Pope's first extended journey in almost a year and a half. He has a difficult time walking without assistance, but he often refused help and poked fun at his cane. He even managed to get into the swing of things. Today, the Pope celebrated the Church's 10th World Youth Day, and he told young Catholics from all over the world to respect what he called the beautiful gift of sexuality and to stay out of the trap of moral slavery.
For what he upholds, faith and morals, I think that says a lot of a man.
Tomorrow, Pope John Paul heads off for New Guinea, Australia, and Sri Lanka, and he has more pilgrimages in the works. Lucky Severson, NBC News, Manila.
From South Carolina tonight, word of a dramatic development in the murder trial of Susan Smith, the 29-year-old mother charged with drowning her 2 small children. Prosecutors in South Carolina are to announce in open court tomorrow that they will seek the death penalty against her. Smith last appeared in court in November. She's being held without bail, accused of killing her sons, 3-year-old Michael and 14-month-old Alex. She first claimed that a carjacker abducted them, but later confessed it was a hoax. The children were found 9 days later in her car, submerged in a lake. Now to perhaps the most publicized murder case in American history, the O.J. Simpson trial. Opening statements are scheduled for Thursday. The trial will take months and will grapple with explosive social issues, including race and domestic violence. NBC's David Bloom sets the scene.
That would want a job like
O.J. Simpson's double murder case may finally go before a jury late this week. But first, Judge Lancito must decide whether prosecutors can portray Simpson as a wife beater.
He killed her, and he killed her because she was distancing herself from him after he expressed over a long period of time that I can't let her go. And with the point that she tries to make him go, to make him let go, that's motivation for killing.
Simpson's lawyers argue evidence of domestic violence should not be admissible.
He's charged with murder. He's not charged with domestic violence.
The prosecution's case will be built largely around physical evidence. It's true they have no murder weapon, no eyewitnesses. What they have instead are drops of blood and strands of hair. Blood at the crime scene, including O.J. Simpson's blood, according to sophisticated DNA test results. And prosecutors contend O.J. Simpson's hair in a watch cap found at Ronald Goldman's feet. Blood on the door handle and throughout the inside of O.J. Simpson's Ford Bronco, including a partial bloody footprints on the driver's side floorboard. Blood leading up O.J. Simpson's driveway, and perhaps most importantly, 2 matching bloody gloves worn by the murderer. The right hand found at the crime scene, the left hand at O.J. Simpson's estate. Police Detective Mark Furman. Did he find or plant a bloody glove at Simpson's estate? Prosecutor Christopher Darden argued that if the jury learns Furman might have used a racial slur some 15 years ago, it will reach only one conclusion.
Evidence, but all they have to do is mention the word, say to Mark Furman, hey, did you ever use that N-word? And he will say, yeah, and it's over. He must have planted the glove.
Simpson's lawyers will likely tell the jury the glove at his estate was planted, that he cut himself, hence the blood in his Bronco and on the driveway, and that the DNA tests are flawed. In recent days, Simpson has at times seemed angry, indignant. On another occasion, he appeared close to tears. But the defense signaled last week they will stick to their all-or-nothing strategy.
We want this case submitted to the jury as a murder case. And they will have to come back with a verdict of guilty of murder or not guilty of murder, Mr. O.J. Simpson.
Prosecutors claim they have a mountain of physical evidence. But unless Judge Lancito decides this week that at least some of the domestic violence evidence is also admissible, prosecutors may have a difficult time convincing 12 jurors that O.J. Simpson killed in a fit of jealous rage. David Bloom, NBC News, Los Angeles.
When NBC Nightly News continues in a moment, Washington's new political reality. The world according to Newt Gingrich. Is the political revolution on schedule? And later in focus, the fight to end legalized preferential treatment for minorities and for women.
Hey, it's the new year. And didn't you make a promise? That's right, you were going to start eating better. Well, Total is going to help you keep that promise, because a full serving of Total has what you're looking for every day. 100% of the daily value of 11 vitamins and minerals. And here's a great deal. We'll send you 5 free samples when you call 1-800-95-TOTAL. So go ahead and pick up the phone. That's right. We'll take care of the first 5 days. The rest of your life is up to you.
It's the media event of the year. At Arthur Anderson, we'd love to be on the big game. However, many of the people we want to get this message to will be there, and will miss our commercial. So we're running it now, which demonstrates a philosophy of our business advisors. When you're smart, you always find a way to play.
Aren't you guys a little early?
Arthur Anderson, where smart people end up.
It is day 13 of House Speaker Newt Gingrich's first 100 days. His Republican colleagues remain confident that they can keep the promises made in their contract with America to push major governmental reforms. But the Republicans now know it will not be easy. NBC's Joe Johns reports from Capitol Hill.
Racing to meet a self-imposed 100-day deadline, Newt Gingrich and other Republican leaders are pressing the House to act earlier and faster than ever before, passing reforms, taking votes, even holding a subcommittee meeting on Friday. The GOP is already preparing to decide whose pet projects must get the knife.
We can't afford this kind of pork barrel stuff when it comes to our budgets, and so everything's going to undergo the microscope.
But where to cut? If the last few days are an indication, Republicans are facing internal sniping over how to achieve some of the most important parts of their contract with America. On congressional term limits, members are split over the number of years lawmakers ought to serve before they have to get out. Some want 6 years, others 8, some want 12.
I personally prefer 12 years, but I'm going to vote for whatever's up there on final passage.
Then there's welfare reform. Subcommittee hearings have already begun. Republican governors and members of Congress disagree over whether block grants to states should have strict federal guidelines.
States must have the freedom, with no strings attached, to implement change.
If we're paying for it, there's a much larger likelihood that we're going to manage it.
Another major issue, should there be a constitutional amendment to require a balanced federal budget? And should the amendment require a 3/5 majority vote in Congress to raise taxes? Despite skepticism in both houses, the Republican Majority Leader Dick Armey says the votes are there.
I think we can get them in the House. It's a heavy lifting job. We'll do the job. We'll get it. And when we get it in the House, I believe it'll inspire the Senate.
But Democrats, still learning to deal with being the minority party, are predicting pitfalls.
I think the Republican agenda is going to hit a snag on the tax issue and on the reform issue.
Republicans are trying to avoid major snags. Keeping their schedule is critical. And they are quick to point out that they did not promise to pass the whole contract with America, only to vote on it in the first 100 days. Joe Johns, NBC News, Capitol Hill.
In North Carolina, the bodies of the last of 3 teenage Boy Scouts swept away by a flash flood were recovered today. The boys were washed off a footbridge over a rushing creek. Across the country, Californians finally got a break today from that deadly weather. NBC's Larry Carroll tonight.
At St. Elizabeth's Church in Guerneville, it was a day of Thanksgiving. Outside, the sun was shining, and the Russian River has now receded enough to allow residents to drive in and out of the once stranded town. Floodwaters were deepest here. More than 1,000 homes were ruined, but no one died here, though storms last week killed 11 other Californians. Near Chowchilla, they were cleaning up damage from a tornado, a rarity in this state. No injuries were reported, but the storm added punctuation to a wild week of weather. 250 miles south in Malibu, home to the rich and famous, it looks anything but glamorous. Houses and cars continue to be surrounded by mud. Storm debris on the beaches is just beginning to be removed. Police must escort traffic down Pacific Coast Highway. Last week's rainstorm shut down the streets and the economy.
It affects the business, but everybody else is in the same boat. There's not a single restaurant open on PCH right now, so we're in the same boat as everybody else.
The statewide damage estimate is $300 million. In Santa Barbara, merchants moved shovels full of mud from their stores. Railroad tracks are blocked. The normally pristine Santa Barbara beach is buried under debris. In Ventura County, which provides much of the nation's winter vegetable crop, fields of celery have been turned into oceans of gooey, sticky mud that make walking just about impossible. The cost in human terms is also mounting. A Los Angeles food bank, which feeds some 20,000 families a week, had to shut down because of water damage to its warehouse. The group's executive director hopes to be back in business by the end of the week.
These people need to be fed. You know, the children can't go to school hungry. So we're definitely going to do it. We're going to do it regardless. We're determined to continue to do the job.
6 months' worth of rain in just a week has made most of California a disaster area. Governor Pete Wilson has ordered a special session of the state legislature to deal with storm-related destruction and recovery. Meantime, President Clinton gets a first-hand look tomorrow. Larry Carroll, NBC News, Los Angeles.
In health news tonight, the death rate from heart disease in the U.S. dropped almost 25% between 1982 and 1992. However, the American Heart Association in its annual report said that heart disease and strokes still caused almost half of all U.S. deaths during that period. When Nightly News continues in a moment, the civil rights fight against civil rights policy.
There's nothing soft about the software business, especially when it's yours. Product cycles used to last years. Mine, more like minutes. The money side is a distraction. It's hard to focus on cash flow and 401k plans while your programs are crashing around you.
Take control of your future. A plan from Merrill Lynch can show you how. And a Merrill Lynch financial consultant has more ways to make the plan work for you than anyone else. The difference is planning. The difference is Merrill Lynch.
When I was a kid, Mom was always after me to eat right.
And that's what mothers do.
Now I'm looking out for her with Ensure. More than a vitamin supplement, Ensure is a delicious drink with all the nutrients adults need to help stay healthy, active, be energetic.
Drink Ensure as a meal.
Or in between.
You know, dear, Ensure is even recommended #1 by doctors as a source of complete, balanced nutrition.
Ensure. To your health, Mom.
Our health, dear.
You've got customers who demand, information to command, and competition to withstand. So how's your business to expand?
Here's how. Sprint Business introduces Real Solutions, a top-to-bottom action plan that shows where your business stands versus the competition and offers communication solutions to help your business grow. And it's all free. Call now for Real Solutions, 1-800-816-REAL, only from Sprint Business.
Think these stores specialize in electronics? Our hidden cameras show they also specialize in ripping you off. See how the scams work before you get taken. Dateline Tuesday.
In focus this evening, affirmative action under attack. A movement has begun in California to roll back the civil rights policy which legalizes preferential treatment for minorities and for women. NBC's Kelly O'Donnell has our report.
Race or gender would no longer be a factor in hiring at state offices like these. Color or sex could not influence which students are admitted to California's state-run colleges or which companies win contracts with the state. That's the goal of a new conservative, controversial, and politically charged effort to stop affirmative action in California. The policy designed to promote opportunities for minorities and women to make up for past discrimination would end.
It is opposed to affirmative action at the point where it crosses the line, betrays its original principles, and actually becomes discriminatory. That is what would be prohibited by the initiative.
The California Civil Rights Initiative would prohibit the state from using race, sex, color, ethnicity, or national origin as a criterion for either discriminating against or granting preferential treatment to any individual or group in employment, contracts, and education. Groups like the National Organization for Women see this campaign as a threat to equality.
We need somebody to blame for the fact that we can't find a job, that we can't earn as much money as we'd like for our families. And so affirmative action is simply the new scapegoat. It's a very dangerous scapegoat.
Hell no, we won't go! The affirmative action debate follows California's divisive battle over Proposition 187. In November, voters passed a measure denying most public and social services to illegal immigrants. The law is not being enforced while its constitutionality is challenged in court. Prop 187 was the core of Governor Wilson's successful re-election campaign, and now the Republican leader is on record supporting an end to affirmative action. Jesse Jackson compares Wilson to the Southern governors of the 60s.
Now he wants to deny enforcing a law for inclusiveness and expansion. He really stands in the tradition of those who blocked school doors and who blocked opportunity.
But some say affirmative action has produced a quota system unfair to white males. Leon Wasak won a discrimination case against Pasadena City College after being passed over for a job given to an Asian man who just completed a master's degree. Wasak has a doctorate and teaching experience.
The person who was hired was not qualified. He had an expertise in a field other than what they were asking for. And I think it's plain as the nose on your face that this was, a clear violation of civil rights law.
California's Department of Fair Employment and Housing, which tracks affirmative action progress, shows for the period between 1980 and 1992, the distribution of white employees in the workforce fell nearly 10%, while African Americans experienced 5% growth and women a more than 3% increase. Critics of the proposed ballot issue say affirmative action is still needed to ensure a level playing field. Those supporting the measure say hiring should be colorblind, but isn't. The California Civil Rights Initiative will need more than 600,000 signatures to make it on next year's ballot. Those against it say what they learned from Prop 187 is to begin the fight early. Kelly O'Donnell, NBC News, Los Angeles.
When Nightly News continues, mounting casualties in Russia's civil war.
What if somebody invented a way to change some of our toxic chemical waste into something useful? Like energy. Now there's less chemical waste and more energy. It's not the whole answer, but it's a start. The 180 members and partners of the Chemical Manufacturers Association, working for change.
Your legs can feel 45% smoother, your feet 40% softer.
An update from Vaseline Research.
This is no ordinary lotion. This is an alpha hydroxy lotion just for dry, flaky legs and rough, calloused feet. It sloughs away dry, dead skin cells, so your legs are beautifully smooth. Even your feet are touchably soft.
From Intensive Research comes new Vaseline Intensive Care Smooth Legs and Feet Alpha Hydroxy Lotion.
Fruit and Fiber has a great new taste, and we just can't keep it under wraps.
I got a great new taste.
Now with crispy multigrain flakes.
I got a great new taste.
More raisins, more walnuts, more dates.
Got a lot of great new taste.
And oat clusters with a touch of brown sugar.
Oh yeah, I got a great new taste.
A new taste so delicious, it shows. The new Post Fruit and Fiber cereal. It's fruit and fiber.
And a great new taste.
Everybody needs some money sometime.
When you need to send money fast, only Western Union lets you send it from home.
Hello? Rita.
Just call 1-800-CALL-CASH. Western Union, the fastest way to send money worldwide.
I could have sent the money Western Union. Did you really need the money today? Just tell me. If you had told me you needed the money really fast, I would have sent it Western Union.
If you didn't send the money Western Union...
Tell me these things anyway, what's so
Did you
important?
really send the money?
Just tell them to wait.
Western Union, the fastest way to send money worldwide.
I'm gonna hang Frank James.
Leonard Nimoy.
He's finally gonna get his chance to kill him.
And the real-life sons of the Bonanza legacy.
The entire Cartwright family.
Jesse James' brother is trapped on the Ponderosa by a madman.
I guess I should be scared to death.
Yes, you should.
Could this be their final showdown?
Let's find out.
An all-new Bonanza movie, NBC tonight.
There was deadly violence in the Mideast today. Israeli warplanes attacked a Palestinian guerrilla base near the Lebanese capital of Beirut, forcing the international airport there to close. The attack killed 3 civilians. There was no immediate word on guerrilla casualties. Israel said the base was used for launching attacks on Israel. Now to the civil war in Chechnya, where today Russian tanks and ground troops continued to close in on the outnumbered and outgunned Chechen rebels. But as NBC's Tom Aspel reports, the rebels are mounting a fierce defense of their besieged capital.
Chechens today showed off an armored fighting vehicle they had captured from the Russians, who claimed fewer than 2,000 Chechens are defending Grozny. But the Russians won't risk putting their elite units of Marines and paratroopers up against these men yet. The defenders are proving to be stubborn, and they're fighting on home ground. Many turning up for battle this morning didn't have weapons. We follow our fighters and take guns from dead Russians, said this one. And some arrived with old machine guns, shotguns, or just knives. The Russians are reducing Grozny to rubble with artillery fire rather than commit ground troops to the battle. They haven't captured the presidential palace after a month of trying.
The front lines haven't changed much in the last 24 hours, but the Chechens say Russian snipers are now active in this area, threatening their main supply route inside the city.
Russian artillery fire has become more indiscriminate. At Grozny's only working spring, people trying to collect fresh water say their houses are now being targeted. The Russians want to obliterate the Chechen capital, they say. There'll be nothing left of Grozny when they finish. 100 yards away, the bodies of 2 women lay where they were cut down by shrapnel this morning. The Chechens expect there'll be many more killed before this battle is over. Tom Aspel, NBC News, Grozny, Chechnya.
Secretary of State Warren Christopher, still concerned about civilian casualties, said today he will urge the Russian government to stop the war in Chechnya. He meets Tuesday in Switzerland with Russia's foreign minister. On NBC's Meet the Press, Christopher also said the war has dealt a serious setback to democratic and market reforms in Russia. Now to Bosnia, where UN commanders today tried but could not persuade Bosnian Serbs to reopen the roads in and out of Sarajevo. UN officials said the impasse, combined with renewed Serb attacks in the north, meant that a truce that took effect on New Year's Day was close to collapsing. When NBC Nightly News continues, remembering Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
All right, let's top it off here.
The coffee perking in this pot is America's best loved coffee.
Just as long as fathers dance with daughters. As long as there are welcome mats. And childhood sweethearts. Just as long as families come together, Maxwell House will always be good to the last drop.
Mon disque dur est plein. Oh, il faut que j'archive 500 MB ou je suis fichu.
Oh, ça c'est embêtant. J'ai entendu dire qu'il travaillait sur un nouveau procédé laser pour stocker de l'information.
Le laser Qui fait ça?
Ah, IBM. Oui, IBM. Ils disent même qu'on pourra stocker 10 fois plus de données.
C'est incroyable.
If you're a woman and you get heartburn, listen.
A dose of Mylanta Regular Strength has this much neutralizing power. Regular Maalox this much. But Tums Ultra has more neutralizing power.
And Tums has calcium, something your body needs anyway.
Ultra.
Look, it's a gold card. Sure, no card on the planet is more useful, but it can't grant you inner peace. Well, I don't know. I mean, you could use it to go someplace where your only action would be one of non-action, which is pretty peaceful. And if you let Master Guest arrange your vacation, you'd save 20 to 40%, plus another $100 if you book by April 30th. And saving money might be the path of true wisdom. So I guess Gold MasterCard could help you see the light. Just remember to wear your sunscreen. Gold MasterCard, it's more than a gold card, it's smart money. Look for your Gold MasterCard application and apply.
Coming up this week on Today, from gorgeous gowns to fabulous florals, plan the perfect wedding with Martha Stewart's special touch. Join us this week and see what a difference today makes.
Finally, America pauses tomorrow to remember this country's leading advocate of civil rights. Martin Luther King would have been 66 years old tomorrow. NBC's Kenley Jones on this year's celebrations and a new controversy.
In New Orleans, marchers honored Dr. King's memory with the parade, a prelude to more of the same tomorrow as the nation observes the official holiday. At the National Cathedral in Washington, Marian Wright Edelman said Dr. King's dream of the United States as a place of justice and equality is not yet fully realized.
I believe that we are called as people of faith to be active participants in working to manifest that gooder place right here and right now.
In King's hometown of Atlanta, an international service was held to pray for peace and unity around the world. The keeper of Dr. King's legacy is his family. For them, his birthday anniversary this year has come in the midst of change and controversy. King's widow, Coretta, has been replaced as chairman of the King Center for Nonviolent Social Change by her son, Dexter. He is the point man in a dispute between the family and the National Park Service over control of exhibits in a new visitor center being built with federal funds. The family wants to build its own museum on the site.
If the Park Service gets its way, a majority of the tourists who come here will leave with a superficial understanding of my father's teachings, history, and legacy.
I think we can present it in a consistent manner for the American public and our visitors who come from other parts of the global community.
The Park Service is no longer permitted to conduct tours on family-owned property, including the home where Dr. King was born. Rangers give lectures from the sidewalk now. In the meantime, King Week activities here have focused on teaching Dr. King's message and accomplishments to the next generation.
A black person can sit on the bus next to a white person. Black children can go to school with white children. Black people can vote. We shall overcome.
Even those who oppose Dr. King's family in its dispute with the Park Service say the controversy should in no way diminish the memory of or the respect for the nation's foremost civil rights leader. Kenley Jones, NBC News, Atlanta.
That's NBC Nightly News for this Sunday evening. I'm Elizabeth Vargas. Tom Brokaw will be here tomorrow night. We leave you tonight with some of Martin Luther King's most famous words.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day.
NBC News, now more than ever.
Why can't this child read? It could be caused by dyslexia, but how can you tell? And what do you do about it if it's your child? Watch NBC Nightly News Monday.